Hello out there to everyone in the verse. Abby here with my weekly show where I do my best to offer up advice and solutions to the many interpersonal problems that any one of us might face, whether that be tackling relationship difficulties or just being an ear for someone in need. Tonight we have a few interesting stories that I want to share. Remember that if you have your own difficulty you would like to share, to post it in the comments below, and I will give my very best advice to you if chosen. So be sure to let me know your troubles for your own chance at a problem-solving take from the galactically known Abby in Space. Before I dive into this week's topics, I first wanted to thank my longtime sponsor, Torpedo Burrito. When Abby has had a rough day and wants to unwind, I stop by my local Torpedo Burrito and grab the vegan wrap, which has been an almost weekly favorite of mine for many years and has helped me through some truly turbulent times. Not everyone can agree on the nutritional value of one of these hand-wrapped burritos from the gods, but it doesn't stop how good having one can make you feel, and that's what's important. Now, on to the show. Our first letter tonight says, Dear Abby in Space, hope you're feeling well and the cold of space isn't wearing on your bones. Anyway, so I run into this guy at the local hot dog stand and I've tried offering up conversations to try and spark something besides just telling me how much for a Doubledog, which, by the way, those things are disgusting. Like, I'm not even sure that they're even meat. But anyway, he's either too shy or just not interested. Are there any tips that you can give a young space jockey that might help this person get out of their discomfort zone? Thanks a mil. You're a galactic treasure. Signed, Eaten Bad for a Reason. Dear Eaten Bad for a Reason, I am feeling well and I spend my winters on ArcCorp, which isn't as hot as Hurston, but the crime rate is better. Anyway, on to your problem. Dating back in my day was way different than it is now, and meeting people in person is not how we see most young people doing it nowadays. In fact, my friend's granddaughter refuses to speak to people she encounters at her job and will only talk to those she can properly vet on her social feeds. This hot dog vendor might be the same way. One thing you can try to do is to use clues on his person to see if there's an interest you can glean from maybe what he wears, or maybe some identifying tattoos or flair. I would suggest staying away from full-on pickup lines, but maybe just try discussing anything remotely natural until you ping something useful from them. Ask things in an open-ended way that are not yes or no questions, or even asking about something he might be willing to speak freely and passionately about, such as recent security threats to the sector, which might prompt him to give some sort of update for your area. Keep on trying until you crack that egg, or until it just seems useless to keep trying. After all, if you're looking for someone who might enjoy speaking, and this fella does not seem to want to talk, it might not be a good match. I wish you luck and let us know how it goes. Our next person in need has a very hard problem to tackle, so let's get to this next problem. Dear Miss Abby in Space, I am part of a two-person security team who patrols various sectors that I cannot go into for security reasons, but we work together in close proximity to one another, and with the rising heat this year, let's just say that our Cutlass Blues climate control does not quite compensate for the heat, so I've noticed my partner's foul body odor. I mean, it's bad, like a fair ape's cave bad. I've tried making sure to leave some subtle hints, like purposely leaving my anti-odorant can out in places that he frequents. The other day, he actually told me to stop leaving my junk everywhere. Anyway, I'm running out of ways to be nice, and before I put in for a transfer or take this matter up the chain, I wanted to see if it was something you could offer up advice for. Thanks. Signed, Holding My Breath. Dear Holding My Breath, the subtle approach in something like this is never the best policy. Now you can go to your superiors and let them handle this because it could very well fall within their job duties. But at the same time, since you work so closely with this person, what's going to happen if the two of you are stuck together after you tell your supervisor? Things might get awkward or begin to get confrontational. If I were in your shoes, and I have been before, I would bring it up in a serious but direct way, but also downplay the seriousness of it so they don't get embarrassed. Maybe even tell a story about how someone once told you or someone you know it happened to them, so they can feel like it's not the end of the world or something to be ashamed of, but that they do need to be aware of. It's never easy cohabitating with someone, especially in an enclosed workspace. I hope everything works out for you and your sense of smell. Now it's time for a Dear Abby update. It's been 6 months since we've heard from our dear friend Dylan Fullstop, who, as many of you know, is a cargo hauler who comes across some very interesting moments from time to time and likes to share. This week he writes, Dear Abby in Space, sorry I haven't checked in for a while, but my journeys have not been very inspiring of late. To be honest, ma'am, I've lost much of my drive to keep doing these hauls and was contemplating a career change. That is, until I had a bit of faith renewal, if you will. I came upon a short-range distress signal and happened upon a small ship that had been attacked, robbed, and everyone on board dead, save for one person. I was able to get the survivor on board my ship, give them medical aid, and get them to the nearest hospital. This was 2 weeks ago. I'm now happy to report that Dylan Fullstop now has another hand on board to help with cargo, defense, and more importantly, friendship. Aw, Dylan Fullstop, I'm so happy for you. Hopefully having someone to share the stars with will keep you both entertained and prosperous. My only question is, how are you splitting the profits? That is all for this week's show, and I wish all of you nothing but healthy and happy lives in the verse. Until next time, good night and stay safe.